Welcome back to Voices Against Filicide. I'm so grateful you're here and choosing to be a part of this incredibly important mission. To begin this season, I'm sharing a deeply personal and meaningful episode. Today marks the anniversary of the loss of my two children, Alec and Lydia Mater, 2 years ago. In this special 2-part episode and conversation, I'm joined by my producer of Voices Against Filicide and friend, Rachel Holloway, as we talk about my journey from childhood to motherhood, to the unimaginable grief of losing my children and the advocacy work I continue every single day to create awareness, change, and hope for other families. This was such an important and emotional conversation that we decided to split it into 2 parts, both of which are available now. So after listening to part 1, please go and listen to part 2. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening, and thank you for helping us continue to raise voices against filicide. Trigger warning. The following podcast contains content that may be deeply disturbing. You will hear first-hand accounts from parents and family members who have lost children to filicide, the murder of a child by a parent or caregiver. These stories are raw, emotional, and shared from the perspective of those who have lived them. They include details of unimaginable loss, system failures, and trauma. Please take care while listening. If at any point you need to pause, stop, or step away, we understand. I just had my phone Bible app open and a journal and a pen, and I sat crisscrossed on my bed and I journaled for hours and hours, and I just sat there in his silence with no worship music, nothing. There was nothing. And I knew that he was there with me, and I knew that that was what I needed to move forward. And through that, I knew that I had to help others, that I had to speak. I had to be that voice for somebody else that was still fighting for their kids in family court, or that person that was still in that domestic violence situation, or that mother or father that just lost their children or child to filicide. I had to be that voice, because if I didn't do it, who would?
And that's currently kind of where you're at. And I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about, what you've been doing grief-wise and all of that. But it's definitely one of the things that I love as I watch you navigate this road that you're on right now, is that every day is different. You're very, very open and transparent, that you have your days that are the hardest, and you have your days when you do okay, but it's all for a reason. It's all because of, this phrase or this saying that we see, turning pain into a purpose. And that's because that's exactly what you're doing right now. And that's where your focus has been. So how were you able to make that decision to get up and to want to really lead this mission for others?
It was a decision that I made, that I make every day. Right? Like you said, I have good days and bad days, and I just did it. There was in my brain, I have that type A personality that, like, once I put my mind to something, that's it. Like, there's no other option. And some days it's hard. But I keep doing it, like I said, to keep moving the needle forward. Because I have to keep Alec and Lydia's legacy alive. I have to keep talking about them. I have to bring this silent epidemic of filicide to the forefront in our country, because, it's insane, But when I started this journey, the statistic was that 500 children a year are murdered by a parent or caregiver. Now, in the new statistics that I've looked up and that I've seen, it's 700. So it's increased in 2 years by 200 kids. So now
it's not like over 20 years. I'm sorry. I just had to say, it's like you see statistics like that over time. This is over 2 years that it's
went up by 200
higher.
By 200 children. Yeah.
And that's only the statistics on what we do know. You know, there's others that are still, whether it's unsolved or cases where people are missing and you don't know what the outcome is. So that's only the ones that we do definitively know.
Yes. So it's probably thousands. Dr. Cocciola does trainings on coercive control and domestic violence. And she says that every speech that she gives, presentation, every couple of months, she has to update it. And her data is a little bit different. And she says it's in the thousands. Yeah, it's just insane that this is talked about, but not on a national platform. And that's what we're really trying to push for, is speaking at a national level so that more and more people can listen. And again, through God opening those doors, I've been able to do that. And it's just insane how this journey has transpired because, again, it started with my brother-in-law saying, start a social media platform, which I started Hope in the Pain. Then it was seeing Brandy Morey Poles' episode with you and Heather on Mother Like Murder. And then reaching out to you on TikTok saying, well, I have a similar story to Brandy. I want to share mine. Then I came on your podcast. Then through that, we became friends. And we went to CrimeCon together in 2025 and met all of these amazing people. And through them, I was able to be on other podcasts. And then through that, somebody found me in Arizona that was making child safety legislation. That started the Alec and Lydia Act. Then, all of these things. Like, if I, again, didn't listen to my brother-in-law to say, start a social media platform just for you. It was just for me at first. It was just for healing, for me to tell stories of Alec and Lydia, for me to tell my experience. It wasn't for anybody else. It was for me. And then for that to go into this amazing journey that we're on now, it's only because of God.
Right. I do want to talk about, different speaking engagements that you've had. I want to talk about the podcast. I just want to talk about everything there is to talk about with you. But before we do that, you just brought up the Alec and Lydia Act and how, you were approached, and that this is truly every other speaking thing, every other thing that you're doing, I can only assume is to further push the move that you're trying to create with this change that is the Alec and Lydia Act. So tell everyone what that is, what it's about, how it became, and then also how they can be a part of it and support it and help you moving forward.
Yeah, so like I said, I was approached online by Amber Snodgrass, and she's just somebody, I didn't know her, and she reached out to me and she said, I found you. I listened to one of your interviews that you did, and you stated in one of your interviews that you want to be a part of legislative reform in Arizona for your children. Are you still interested in that? I said, yes. But again, at that point, I wanted to do that, but I had no idea how to contact somebody to do that. And so she was like, okay, I have contacts. I'm already in contact with Representative Rachel Keschel, and I'm going to give you her phone number, and you can talk to her. So then I talked to Representative Rachel Keschel, told her my story, and she said, oh, yes, we definitely want to work with you. We definitely want to make legislation in honor of Alec and Lydia, but also we want to make this so that it protects other children and families in family court in Arizona, because we know that Arizona is one of the most corrupt, negligent states when it comes to family court and child safety. They put the rights of the parents over the child over and over and over again, whether that's through family court or Department of Child Services, which is a completely different thing. Their DCS, the way they run DCS is unimaginable. It is insane. It is horrendous. It is crazy. And so, yeah, I worked with her and Amber and I were actually the people that wrote the original Alec and Lydia Act, which consisted of like a 30-page bill. It included everything in my case that I talked about previously and everything that we wanted to change. It also included other factors as well. And so we started talking to Senator Mark Fincham, and we talked with Representative Lisa Fink and Representative Rachel Keschel. And those were the three main people, because those were the people that really spearheaded the Arizona ad hoc committee meetings in that previous summer, where they had thousands of testimonies of people who were failed by the Arizona family court system. And so that was kind of like the trajectory. We kind of had the momentum with the Arizona ad hoc meetings, committee meetings, which there was like 4 of them, which thousands of people came out and shared testimony. Then I shared my testimony, and my testimony is actually in a Arizona Senate report that was given to the senators and the Arizona governor. And so through that, we wrote that original bill. Then we realized, okay, this bill is great, but we need to pare it down, and we need to make sure that we're focusing on the main things of child safety. Not saying that everything in there wasn't important, but when you're doing legislation, you have to be strategic. And so we thought, okay, we have to make these smaller bills so that maybe they'll have a better chance of moving through the legislation. And so that's what we did. We made the Alec and Lydia Act the Domestic Violence and Coercive Control Bill, which is, it will put coercive control under the umbrella of domestic violence, which will make Arizona, if passed, the 11th state to include coercive control under that umbrella.
Yes.
It also makes sure that child safety and children are the number one priority in family court cases when there is a history of domestic violence or coercive control. The judges have to look through those factors, and if there is any underlying abuse, they have to stop and look at all of that. And the abusive parent would have to prove that presumption that they weren't abusive in order to have unsupervised custody again. And they can fight that presumption. They can get over that. That's something that we have made in that bill to make sure that when that parent who is not safe can get over that presumption and do the things that they need to do, they can do that, right? We're not saying that forever this parent is not going to have time with their child unsupervised.
Right. Rehabilitation is the goal.
Yes.
You know, it's never to just dismiss or take away. It's to be safe, to put the kids first, and to make sure that everyone is in, you know, the safest form or state that they can be in moving forward.
Yes. And then the last part is judges will have to put their findings, their why behind why they ordered something in temporary orders. Because right now in Arizona, they'll put it in final orders. It has to be in final orders. But in temporary orders, they don't have to put their why or their rulings of why they did something in temporary orders. And that's huge because Alec and Lydia were murdered in temporary orders. So I wanted to make sure that that was a major piece in that legislation. And it is. So the Alec and Lydia Act has moved through the different legislative pieces. It's went through the House committee first, and it went through unanimously, 8 yeses to 0 noes. Then it went to the House floor, 52 yeses to 0 noes. Then it went to the Senate Committee on Federalism and Family Court, where it did pose some hurdles, but it did pass 4 yeses to 3 noes. And through that, we have worked and we have amended the Alec and Lydia Act and taken out not the big parts, but we've taken out some things. And now we have the support of the Democrats. We have the support of the Arizona Coalition on Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault. And so we do believe that after the senators and the governor get through with a bill on the budget, which is taking precedence right now, that once sessions can reconvene, the Alec and Lydia Act will move to a full vote in the Senate floor. And so that is what we are waiting for. We still need your support. Even if you don't live in Arizona, we need your support. So the way that you can do that is you can go to my link tree, which is in the description below, and you can click on the rally starter for the Alec and Lydia Act. It's the first link at the very top. You can click on that. You can read about the Alec and Lydia Act, what it's going to do, and then I give you instructions to fill out, and it takes 2 minutes to do this. You fill out your name, you fill out your zip code, and you fill out your email. And then I've already put together a template of an email that will go to all senators in Arizona and all representatives. We have it going to both now. And at the very bottom of the email, under the sincerely, just make sure that you write your name. So it says sincerely, and then you put your name so that it's not blank. And then you just hit submit. It literally takes less than 2 minutes. It could take a minute to do this. And for each person that does it, it sends out emails to every senator. So that's 30 senators. And it sends out emails to every representative. That's 60 representatives. That's 90 people that are getting these emails. And so every single person that does that clicks that submit button, they're getting an email in their inbox that tells them this is why it's important. And it's not just important for Arizona residents, it's important to all of us, to the whole nation. And so that's what we're doing right now. And we hope that it passes and it gets signed by the governor, Katie Hobbs. And I did want to say something to you. I think I've told you this in private, but when a bill is signed into law, it has an effective date. And the effective date that was randomly chosen, not by me, just randomly by the the representatives, and the senators that are working on this bill, they picked July 15th, 2026, which is Alec's 10th heavenly birthday. I mean, if you need a God wink of like, this is why you're doing this, that's a God wink. We emailed Representative Ketchel and Representative Fink and Senator Fincham, and we told them, and they were so elated because they just randomly picked a day. They didn't know it was Alec's birthday. So that's going to be amazing. And we are hopeful that it goes all the way through. But like I said, we still need your support and we still need pressure on this. It's not done yet.
Yeah. And you guys can be a part of that. And we're not asking you, we're begging you.
Yeah.
It's begging. Needed.
Yes.
Yeah. So with all of that, you have also been just pretty much going across the country and speaking and doing as much as you are able. So you have been to different speaking engagements and you have a lot more coming up. So if you want to start kind of talking about the ones, I know do you have 3 in May right now? I was going to say, you have 3 speaking engagements in May? Or is it just the 2? Am I tripping?
Are we including the national one with the big man that I'm meeting with on Monday?
Ooh, that's up to you.
Because that would be 3. Because that would be 3. So
that's up to you if you want to put that out for people.
Because it will be out shortly after this releases, I'm assuming, or maybe a little bit before. So yeah, I have a lot going on in May. April was super busy. April we had Beyond the Crime convention in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Then I had book signings in Southeast Michigan, which went really well. I had 2 of those. And then I have, on this coming Monday, May 11th, I have a event that I'm hosting called Hope in the Pain at Kensington Church, which is the church I attend. And I get to talk about my story and bring hope and healing and peace to other people who might need it. And that is on Monday, May 11th. Also on Monday, May 11th, if one event is not enough, we're going to do 2. We're going to do, I have the opportunity of being reached out to by the team that works with Dr. Phil McGraw. Yes, the Dr. Phil, that guy.
Yeah.
And I will get to sit down with him, with Brandy Morey-Poles, and we will both be talking about our legislation, our stories. He really wants us to focus on what do judges, courts, attorneys, everybody involved, the community, what does everybody need to know nationwide about this silent epidemic of filicide and how to stop it? And that is like right up our alley. That is what we're trying to do. So this is amazing that they found us. We didn't even reach out to them. So again, another God opening a door, right? And then on Saturday, May 16th, I have another public speaking event / book signing at Page 18 Bookstore in Oxford, Michigan, where I will be partnering with another domestic violence survivor, and we will be sharing our stories of survival, and I will be selling my book, There's Still Hope, in the bookstore. And then the big one at the end of the month, May 29th through the 31st, I will be at Crime Con in Las Vegas with my whole team, Heather and Rachel, and it's going to be amazing. We will have a Voices Against Filicide table in the Expo Hall, and I will be selling my books, and we'll be talking about the Alec and Lydia Act, and I will be talking about the podcast, and I'll just get to meet all of you, anybody that shows up. I am so excited to not only go to CrimeCon again, because it was such a great experience last year, but now have an actual table at the event is amazing. And I hope in the future, CrimeCon, you invite me to come and speak, because that is my goal. And so I'm just going to be persistent like I always am and just continue moving forward, and hopefully God will open that door. And and then in September we have Advocacy Con in New Mexico as well, which I'm looking forward to as well, because that's a different style, different type of event. It's more advocacy driven, which is what I'm doing. So yeah.
Right. Yep. It's, you said when you began to talk about CrimeCon, you said the big one. Each and every single thing that you are doing is the big one.
It's big.
From every podcast to every book signing to every speaking engagement, all of it. Because, your book, anything where you can reach someone and raise awareness or, honor your children or help someone that is going through something that you've gone through, and you're just a light in that, moment. Is a big one. So
and
make sure you see it like that too.
Yeah, and I do. I'm sorry.
You're good. I just know everyone's like, CrimeCon.
I just say it's big because of how many people. It's thousands of people.
The reach.
It's kind of scary. I'm kind of nervous, if I'm completely honest, but it will be good. I know that I'll have support and God is with me, and it'll be good.
Yes. It will.
I'm super excited also, and I'll announce because by the time this comes out, these other episodes will have been out. But I was just on, and I had the great opportunity to go to Nashville, Tennessee, and be on Beyond the Monsters podcast with Shell, and it was amazing. And we'll also post that link down in the show notes. And so, I mean, you tell me, Rachel. I think that podcast was so, like, you talk about like the reach, but I think it reached so many people because it wasn't just auditory. Like you said, you could see us.
Yeah.
So
I feel like there's always a difference when you can see what you're listening to. You feel things differently. You feel things differently when you see the emotion cross your face, or even when you're saying something and the host also has a reaction. It's just a different kind of feel for sure. But their platform, their reach, she did an incredible job. A lot of it was just letting you speak, and you really do have this knack to be able to just grasp the attention of those listening.
I've been told that many times, and I don't, that's not like a flex or anything, but like, I just, again, like, that's something that he tried to silence so much, and to find that again, and to know that I had that all along, and to find it again is so powerful, because that is something that he took from me,
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah. And then also I had so this is how social media can work so well. Beyond the monsters, beyond all these amazing things that I'm doing. Last week, I was on social media on my TikTok, and I got a comment on one of my videos, and it just said, "I love your videos. I watch all the time. You should check out the Filicide podcast with Sam and Amy." And I'm like, what is that? I mean, I know what Filicide is, right? It's all a family murder, encompassed, not just filicide. And so I reached out, I looked on their website, and Amy actually lost her mother at the hands of her brother. And now she hosts this podcast with Sam Mueller, which is the voice behind, the production behind the A&E show, Intervention. He's the one that created that show. And Sam and Amy, I got to sit down with them last week, and their episodes for the Filicide podcast that I was on will be released right before this episode goes live. And they were amazing to sit down with. Sam said the same thing. It was kind of strange because I thought I was doing something wrong in the taping, because I would be talking and they would be completely silent. And obviously I can know that they're listening, but like that just look on like Sam's face every time I would like say something. And then I remember I stopped and said, like, "Am I doing okay? Do I need to like stop and have you ask me questions?" And he's like, "No, you're doing amazing. Like, just keep, I'm at the edge of my seat." I'm like, okay. So he kept saying that I'm a great storyteller. So that was really exciting to hear from somebody that's in like LA that, is on, that produces huge shows like Intervention. It was really cool to hear that from him.
It's just, in my opinion, the passion and the fight, that drive that you have to push forward what you're doing is just exposed every time you open your mouth, Hope, okay? All right, I'm fine. I almost got myself.
You almost got it. You can cry. It's okay. I teared up a little bit.
I know. Well, you teared up earlier. I started, and then I just didn't speak words. Okay, hold on. I need a drink. Okay. Other than all of those kind of live speaking engagements or other podcasts, you have also created this one. You said, guess what? I want to extend my reach even more and create a place where, your tagline is speak truth, honor lives, and why did my brain just go blank? What's the third? Fight for change.
Yeah.
Fight for change.
Yes.
I was like, what is that third one? And that, so far, this is the beginning of season 3, but your first season, you had so much on other filicide cases and raising awareness to what filicide is and how prevalent it is right now, and how a lot of people don't even know what the term is. And, it was just about, here it is, here are some stories, here are some people who have gone through it. And then in season 2, you have brought on so many incredible people, many that you even talked about just now through the mission that you've done with Rachel Keschel and Amber Snodgrass and, Dr. Cochiella. So you've had them on and you've been able to educate and expose what they're doing as well to make a difference. So yes. How has kind of Voices Against Filicide been for you, and where do you kind of see it going in season 3 and beyond?
Yeah, I think that I see it growing so much more. I think that, like anything that I'm doing, we don't really fully know the impact until things come out. We don't know what the trajectory is of it, but I really hope that it reaches the people that need to hear it, that it gets to be that nationwide silent epidemic podcast. I mean, my goal, if I'm being completely honest, and I hope that it can be in the top 100 podcasts on Apple Podcasts someday. I hope that it gets that big that I can talk at national conventions and they want to know more about this silent epidemic and how it is ravaging our country. And yes, bringing awareness and bringing other people on, sharing other families' stories is so important, because we have to make the world, legislators, people in power, attorneys, etc., we have to make them aware that these are not one-off events. They continuously happen over and over again. On average, now it's 2 to 3 children a day, not just one child a day. And we have to make sure that they understand that there are always lethality risk markers and red flags leading up to a filicide. These things can be prevented if we are aware of them. If we put the right procedures and protocols in place, we can make a difference. We can save these children's lives. And so that is my mission.
Yeah. I love that. And I see you putting in the time, the effort, and the work to push those changes. Another thing that you did and you were working on, for a while, is you wrote a book. And that just came out this, the beginning of
It's March.
Gosh. Oh my gosh. That why does it feel like so long ago? I was going to say beginning of this year, I almost said last year. Tell us about not only just the fact that you have a book out there, but the writing process. How was it therapeutic to you, maybe in the time of need? Just everything that intertwines with your book.
Yeah, so it came out March 6th. It's called There's Still Hope, A Journey of Adversity, Tragedy, and Unshakable Faith. It is a short memoir about my whole life and how all of these different things have compiled to make the trajectory that I am today. And why my faith plays such a big role in everything that I do. At the core of it, it's a book of, triumph and loss and faith. And it's a #1 bestseller on Amazon. It is #1 bestseller in the categories of grief and loss and spiritual healing, as well as true crime stories. And that is huge for a hybrid author, because I'm not a traditional published author with a traditional publishing house like one of the big five. I did my book with a hybrid publisher. I wrote it. They helped me put it all together with the cover and make it beautiful, and the back cover as well. But I really did a lot of it, and I really pushed a lot of it. And so it is amazing for an independent author like me to be a #1 bestseller on Amazon. I mean, we're talking millions of books. Yeah. And so, like, that's a huge thing. And so to say, like, I'm not only a child safety advocate, I'm not only a podcast host, but I'm an author, like, that's crazy for me to say. And it's kind of becoming real now. But at the very beginning, I was like, I can't even believe that I'm an author. Like, but the healing process through writing it, that was a healing process. I wrote every single thing out. And the way that my brain works is I have to write it from beginning to end. I can't like start in the middle and go backwards. Like that's just not how my brain works.
Right.
And so that's what I did. I started from my childhood, from actually me before I was even born. That's where I started, and I moved all the way forward. And I think that even now, I just finished recording the audiobook today, so it will be out soon on Audible. But even doing the audiobook, rereading my own words, it was healing for me, because like you said, with my public speaking, with everything that I'm doing, every time I go back through my story, it's bringing all of those emotions back up. And because I've been doing therapy for over 3 years now, I still get sad. I still have those emotions. But because I am doing therapy and I'm working through those, the triggers and the trauma that I talk about, that I write about, are not as severe anymore. So it's not like I'm re-bringing my trauma back up and back up and back up. Yes, I am in a sense, but it doesn't affect me like it used to. So that's really healing for me, because every time I speak about it, and I just know that I'm helping someone else. You know, speaking about what I've been through is going to help somebody else that I don't even know, that I'll never meet, you know? And that's why I do this.
Yep. Speaking to other people and trying to be like a support through kind of different avenues, your book, the podcast, speaking engagements. One of the things that you want to do and that you have been doing is raise awareness on coercive control, on domestic violence, all of those kind of things. So what would you say to those listening on what they can do for themselves? If there's anyone that read your book, or if there's anyone that listened to an episode and they say, that's me. I've been through that. I'm living that right now. I'm experiencing these things, or the opposite, where it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that could be what I was going through, you know, like a different situation. What would you say to them, and how can they help themselves?
Yeah. The first thing I would say is you're not alone. You have people to support you, whether that's friends, family, your community, me. Follow me on social media. You can reach out to me and direct message me. The amount of people that have done that, and I've given them resources, go ahead. I'm here for you. Also, in the back of my book, I put a resource section. And that's a really big help, because it can give you resources right there on the spot. There's 2 phone numbers that you can call. You can text those phone numbers, and you can get real life support to help you. You have support. You can do this. You are not alone, and we are here for you.
Yeah. We're going over so many different things, and I want to just ask you a couple questions. Not like rapid fire questions. You don't have to go fast, but I have a few that I feel like I want to touch on before we go off, of just kind of more digging deeper, maybe. But one of the things
like we
I'm
went
curious,
pretty deep already, but
we're going
can go
deep.
deeper in the hole.
I guess I should say, like, some of these things are things that I haven't talked to you about, and so this is me kind of like pulling or trying to reach a different kind of portion too. But has there ever been a time or a moment through all of this that you have just wanted to stop, that you felt like you got too far deep and you were like, this might be too much and I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now?
No, not like that. I had a moment the other day, actually, that when I speak with people, I often feel after the fact that even though I help them, and even though they're so appreciative, because obviously I believe God puts us in the path of people all the time to help. I often feel like sometimes I only bring this to the table. Like I only talk about domestic violence, Jesus, coercive control, Alec and Lydia, filicide. I only talk about those topics. Like those are my passions. And yes, I can talk about other things, but I think when you go through deep grief, the mundane things of this world, like how was the weather today? How are you doing at baseball? Those mundane things are hard for me to connect with because I've lost so much. So, like it says in the Bible, I'm honestly not concerned about the things of this world. I know that sounds really harsh. But like, and I do care about people. I do. And I hear their stories and I sit there and I'm present in the moment. But like, do I want to talk to you about like the weather yesterday? Not really.
Right.
I'm kind of more so like that, like I'm not that surface level person anymore. I really want it, like we're talking about right now, these deep questions. I really want to get deep in somebody's story, whether that's they've lost someone or they've had trauma or not. Even if they have a regular life, I want to get to know somebody for who they are, for what really makes them tick as a person. Does that make sense?
It does. I feel like something that comes with that, and then also the life that you've lived, even before your children, your friend, your grandpa, your mom, your dad, your children, everything. Like, you've had a very heavy life, and so many people, I mean, anyone I talk to, I'm sure the majority of people that you talk to bring up your strength and talk about how strong of a person you are, how resilient of a person you are, as do I. What do you do for yourself to protect yourself through all of this?
Yeah, I have really, really close friends. So Lauren, who's been on the podcast, she'll be with me in Las Vegas. Jessie, who is also a really good friend, she'll be with me in New Mexico at Advocacy Con. Sarah, who's with me in New Mexico at Beyond the Crime. You, Brandy, Maury Pools, my family, my sister Brandy, brother-in-law Kurt, niece and nephews. Those are the people that I turn to, obviously, and my faith. But if I need to be grounded, if I need to really like take a step back, those are the people that I talk to. Those are the people that I do things with. those are the people that I love. I love to go to my niece's sporting events, my nephew's sporting events. I love to spend time with my sister every week. She comes to my house and we have a TV show night where we watch our favorite TV shows, whether that's The Masked Singer or The Bachelor or Bachelorette when it's on, or we love The Floor, or our favorite is High Potential. And so we'll sit and I do decompress. That's my time to let everything go. And I don't know, I hate the word, but be normal. I don't know.
Well, you're just finding a way to navigate through it all.
Yes. So enjoy things that I love. I love to go and get my toenails done, pedicures. It's so funny because at the salon that I go to up the road here, I bring in a new friend every time. And they're always like, oh, you brought somebody new. Like every single time I come, I bring somebody new. And I bring somebody new every time. The one time I brought my sister Brandy, they didn't even know she was my sister. They just thought she was another friend. And she was like, oh, I'm her sister. And they're like, really? And we're like, yeah, we're related. We're sisters. Because I literally because that's something, I guess that's like my number one thing is like getting pedicures. And just self-care, doing that, getting my hair done every once in a while, changing my hairstyle. As you've seen, I've went dark, I've went super blonde, I've went in between. I've had color in my hair. So those are the kind of things that kind of keep me grounded. Going to concerts, obviously, I'm a huge concert
Yes.
So
Hillary Duff, Backstreet Boys.
The Jonas Brothers.
Jonas Brothers, yeah. It's like so many.
Yes. Yeah.
For learning purposes, as we're all trying to learn and not everyone knows the right thing to say or the right thing to do. When you experience this, you had a lot of people who felt the need to say certain things or chime in or really, and maybe not even a fault of their own, just maybe not really understanding that sometimes you just got to be quiet. What can you say to someone who wants to know how to be a support system for someone?
Yeah. Depending on what you're dealing with, if we're talking about you see somebody that needs help, that is in a domestic violence situation, if they're confiding in you, the first thing you need to do is believe her. Don't judge them. Listen with purpose and patience, not to fix them. Just listen. If you are a person of prayer, pray with them, but also make sure that you find them safety, whether that's taking them to a shelter, whether you feel comfortable enough for them to be in your home, helping them make a safety plan or pack a bag. If we're talking about somebody that's gone through grief, the biggest thing that you can do is be there for them. That is the biggest thing that all of the friends that I've mentioned have done. And family. They don't know what to say, and they say that. They'll literally let me just vent and say, I don't know what to say, but I'm here for you. And if I'm with them in person, they just give me a big hug. I think that's the biggest thing too, is make sure that if they're okay with it, that you're hugging these people and that you're showing them that you're there. Because I think the hardest thing when you lose somebody so close to you and your whole world shatters, you literally just want that super strong hug, almost to the point where it's awkward, because your body needs that physical pressure to release all of that tension in that moment. And I say this because she did it really well. When I met Nancy Grace, she gave me the longest hug ever. And yes, it teetered on that point of like, this is like uncomfortable, but I needed that in that moment because I had so much tension in my body. And
Yeah.
it's not just what we need mentally, it's what our body physically needs. Sometimes we need that weighted blanket or that hug or whatever it might be. We need those things to ground us in reality.
How have Alec and Lydia changed you and who you are and how you love today?
I love deeper. They've changed me. Like I said, I want to get to know people on a deeper level. I'm no longer a surface level person. Doesn't mean I won't have a surface level conversation with you, because I'll literally talk to the wall. I'll talk to anybody. But I, they have changed me because through them, I see the world differently. I see the world that we aren't here forever. Kind of the thing I want to touch on, and this is kind of deep, I guess, but when you lose so many people, and especially when you lose your children and you no longer have anyone. I had no one except for my sister, brother-in-law, and niece and nephews, and like aunts and uncles, as far as family, right? I had friends. But when you have no one and you are met with the question of mortality, you understand that life is so finite. You are not here forever, and that you only have this one life to live. So whether that's living it with purpose, living it and going to experience things that you've never experienced, whether that's traveling or going on a safari or skydiving or doing something that you would never do, I would say go do it, because you never know if it will be your last time. And that's so hard to say. And, you're like, oh, well, you'll have tomorrow, but you're never promised that. And I know that for sure because, gosh, my children, one minute they were there and the next minute they weren't. Same thing with my mom. And, with my dad, it was a little bit different because we knew that he was going to pass away, but we just didn't know when, because of his illness. But like with my kids and my mom specifically, they were there and then they were gone. The one thing I'll share with you that was really hard for me at first with Alec and Lydia was looking through all of their stuff that the school sent me. The school gave to me the week that they died, before I left Arizona. They came over with a big bag of stuff. And actually going through that a year and a half later, because I've went through it recently, and seeing in their journals that they wrote 5/17/2024.
Yeah.
And there was no more pages after that. Life is so finite. You have to live every day as it's your last. You have to make a lasting impact on this world. And it doesn't matter. I was listening to a podcast, and some person that's passed away now, they were quoting her, and I think she was an author, and it was one of her family members that was on, and the family member said, my grandmother used to say, it doesn't matter what your purpose is, but you have a purpose. It doesn't matter if you're the shoe shiner on the street corner that shines somebody's shoes, that then goes into an interview and gets the job and becomes the CEO of the company. You still have a purpose of shining that man's shoes. It doesn't matter if you're the person that is making the Subway sandwich that then gets to meet somebody and impact their day. You all have a purpose. We all have a purpose to live and to impact people in our journeys, our train of life, as we say.
Yeah. Oh, that poem. What what do you think Alec and Lydia are thinking when they look down and they see everything you're doing right now?
Oh, I know that they're cheering. Every time that I do something great, and especially if it's related to something that like Brandy Morty Pools and I do together, we always text each other back and forth and we're like, you know that they're all there together and they're all cheering us on and they're all like, up there playing with their Pokemon cards and Lydia's over there playing with her unicorns. Um, you know, it's just, we all do it. All of my other Filicide moms that I've met, we all root each other on, and we know that our kids are all up in heaven together. They're all rooting us on. They're our big cheering section. We wouldn't be doing the things that we do without them. I mean, Brandy Morty Pools wouldn't be passing legislation like she is. Leslie Hugh wouldn't be the founder of Pierce's Pledge and doing the things that she's doing without Pierce. I sit down with Christy Camaro and I talk about, Wyland in this season and the things that she's doing and her friendship that she's built with Leslie Hugh because of Wyland's passing and her meeting Leslie, which is Pierce's mom. I mean, yes, we wish our children were with us. We do. But we also know that we wouldn't know each other if our children were still here. We wouldn't have this big community of people that are fighting to keep children safe and to keep victims safe if our children were still here. And unfortunately, it's taken our children to change legislation and change laws and bring awareness. Yeah, that really sucks. Yeah. But we're doing it for our children's legacy.
I've heard people say it before. It's a community no one wants to be a part of, but you guys have each other. Yeah. And that's what you guys need in those moments.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you kind of want to talk about in this 2-year Angelversary episode that we haven't touched on yet?
If you're listening to this Angelversary episode, I would ask you to do a couple things today or whenever you're listening to this. The first one is play High Hopes by Panic at the Disco. The next thing, that was Alec's favorite song. And the next thing is wear green or pink or purple for Alec and Lydia sometime this week. Listen to... Go and watch Phineas and Ferb. That was Alec's favorite show. Go and watch Taylor Swift. Go and eat. One of their favorite foods was macaroni and cheese. Go make some and go eat it for them. Or sour cream Pringles. Or Slim Jims. Or any sort of chewy candy. Especially they loved Haribo gummy bears, Haribo gummy bears. So do one of those things in honor of Alec and Lydia today. And if you see this, or if you hear this, please go and do that. And then I would love to hear about it. So go follow me on social media at Hope in the Pain. And send me a direct message with you wearing a shirt or eating Pringles or whatever it might be. I want to see those. And thank you so much for being a part of our journey. And remember, there's still hope. And yeah, we speak truth, honor their lives, and fight for change. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time for our next episode of Voices Against Filicide. If you liked this podcast, please give it a 5-star rating and review, and please share it. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.